Most teenagers are not very likely to learn about investing. For one, it's not really taught in public schools, and a lot of the investing advice and resources that are out there are geared more towards adults that are already concerned about things like mortgages or raising children or saving for retirement. But investing at a young age can come with a ton of advantages and will put you ahead later in life, even if those aren't your top priorities right now. So here's a look at some of the ways that you can get started investing if you are a teen, or how you can help your teen get started investing if you're a parent. So you may be wondering why it's a good idea to start investing in the first place if you're a teen. Most teenagers are more concerned about having enough cash to go to Chipotle or go out with their friends on the weekends, and they aren't really thinking about retirement. The first reason you may want to consider investing is to get a jump start on college or trade school. So if you are planning on going to a traditional college, in the US, the average tuition is upwards of $37,000 a year. For most people, it is going to take that full 4 years or even 5 years to finish college. For just finishing your college education, if you don't have anything saved up and you have to take all of that out in loans, you're looking at a 6-figure loan just for a basic college education. If you start investing in your teen years and saving up for those college goals, or even if it's not college and it's something like a trade school, having that savings and allowing it to grow over time with compound interest is really going to work in your favor. Then, even if it doesn't cover the entire cost of your tuition, reducing that big loan amount that you have to take out is really going to be helpful. Then when you graduate and you're starting your adult life, you'll be able to put that money towards other things and maybe even more fun things than paying off your loans. The second reason is to take advantage of compound interest. So the way that compound interest works, it builds your money over time, and the interest that you earn on the money you have earns you even more money, which earns you even more money. The longer amount of time that you have in the stock market, the more potential your money has to give you bigger returns. For example, let's say that you open an investment account at the age of 15. You and maybe your parents contribute a total of $5,000 per year and place that money into a low-cost index fund. By the time you're 21, maybe you start contributing the full $5,000 yourself. And if you continue to contribute to the account each and every year, by the time you're 65, you could have a total of $2 million. Now, maybe you can't contribute a full $5,000 and maybe you're starting later than 15, but either way, that is an extraordinary amount of money for only having to contribute $5,000 a year. The third reason is simply for the experience of learning about investing. Like we said earlier, there's not many resources, at least in public schools, that are going to teach you about the benefits of investing. So when you start doing it yourself, that tends to spark an interest in how it actually works and where your money is actually going. There are so many free resources now on YouTube and Google and pretty much anywhere else that you can learn all of this without having to have like a master's in economics. So hopefully over the course of investing your money, you'll gain an interest in that, gain some curiosity, go and look for the things that you are interested in, and gain an overall better understanding of how you can let your money work for you. The fourth reason is to get a head start on your wealth building. A lot of people won't start investing until they're 30 or 40, which is okay. But the later that you start investing, the more you'll have to contribute to get your account to $1 million or $2 million, $6 million, or whatever your goal is. Like I showed with that example earlier, contributing a small amount every year if you start in your teen years is going to add up to a lot of money over time. Plus, the earlier that you start, the more mistakes that you can make because you have that much more time to make up for them. So it's a great learning opportunity. So now that we know the value of investing at a young age, let's take a look at some of the ways that you can actually invest. And the first way would be stock market investing. Nothing has built wealth like the stock market has, and a very simple way to get started with this is to find a low-cost index fund. And Vanguard and Fidelity offer a lot of good ones, and I've made a couple of videos about that, so I will link them up there. With these, there's not going to be any weird or complex trading strategy, and you don't have to get too caught up in the technical aspect of it. You can find a low-cost index fund that tracks the total US stock market or some other category, and when you go with one of these low-cost index funds, it's like you're buying into a big pool of a lot of different stocks. These low-cost index funds mean that the majority of your money is going towards that investment and not towards broker fees or weird management fees or things like that. So again, I'll have a couple of those videos linked above. So that's one of the options, but what do you do for an account? If you're under 18, you are going to need a custodial account. This is basically going to be an account that a parent or guardian opens up for you, and they are technically the ones managing it. Now, how much they actually are involved with it is going to be totally up to you talking with them. Maybe they will let you just manage the whole thing by yourself, or maybe they do want to be a little bit more involved. But basically, it's an account that they have to sign up for and say, yes, this is my child I am responsible for, and I am responsible for this account. And they have to do that on your behalf until you are over 18. Another option is a 529 plan. This would be good if you're a parent that is trying to save for your child's college, or if you are a teen and you've heard your parents talking about needing to save for your college, have them look into a 529 plan. This comes with some tax advantages that are similar to a Roth IRA. So you're putting after-tax money into the account, meaning money that you've already paid taxes on. Once you're ready to actually use that money and take it out of the account, you won't have to pay taxes again on any of those gains. There are different limits depending on which state you live in for how much you can actually save in a 529 plan, so you'll definitely want to check that for your state before you open up an account. Another option is an IRA. So there are a couple of different types of these. There's a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. I'm not going to go too deep into this. I have made other videos on them, but a Roth IRA could be a great option if you are a teen that is just starting out with investing. So again, the money that goes into this account is going to be money that you've already paid taxes on. When you take that money out in the future at retirement age, you won't have to pay taxes on the gains. With Roth IRAs, you can contribute up to $6,000 a year, and that changes sometimes from year to year. Sometimes they'll bump it up, and if you're older, that amount can go up if you are like way closer to retirement. But a great platform to open up a Roth IRA on would be M1 Finance. And this is a great platform for really any beginner because they make it super simple to see and understand your investments and where your money is actually going. And everything is presented to you in this nice pie chart, which most investment apps don't do. They make everything super easy and you can automate a lot of it. So if you want money to automatically come out of your checking account into your investment account every month, you can set that up straight from the app. If you want to sign up with M1 Finance, use that link in the description. And they're also really great because they do have custodial accounts. So regardless of which app you end up going with, do make sure that if you're under 18, they have a custodial account option. So if you're not quite ready to jump into stock market investing, another option for investing your money when you're 18 is to use it to actually start a business. A lot of the people that we view as rich or wealthy started their own businesses at some point, and this can teach you a lot of things about money and having your money work for you and just give you good life and social skills. So this doesn't have to be a business that you want to do for like the rest of your life. I would recommend picking something that you're already good at, that you already enjoy doing, and figure out how you can make a business out of that. If you aren't sure what you should start, here are a few ideas. You could do more physical businesses like landscaping or housework. You could teach other people and do music lessons or tutoring. You could walk people's dogs, open up an online store with something like Shopify or Etsy, or you could start doing marketing and social media for local businesses. And while I do think that there are a ton of opportunities to earn money online, it can be a little bit difficult if you are relying on one platform to do that through. So for example, if you wanted to do freelancing, a lot of the freelancing platforms are going to restrict the age to people who are over 18. So you may have to get a little bit creative with how you're finding clients if you're doing something like graphic design or a social media business, or if you're starting an online shop through something like Shopify or Etsy, you may need to get your parents to enter their information and do it from there. So there are kind of ways around it. You may just have to be a little bit creative with it. And if neither of those are appealing to you, you could always just put your money into a high-yield savings account. So a high-yield savings account, although this isn't technically investing, is still going to teach you good money skills as far as saving goes. This may be a good idea if you know that you're going to need the money that you're saving in like a year or two, or even just a few years. Like again, if you know that you're going to have to take that money out to pay for college, maybe consider putting it in a high yield savings account. So high yield just means that their interest that they're paying you is going to be a little bit higher than the national average. Some of the big brick and mortar banks only pay 0.01% in interest for you keeping your money there, but these high yield savings accounts will pay a little bit more than that. So these rates will fluctuate with the interest rates in general, but what you want to look for are neobanks. These are banks that don't have physical locations, so some credit card companies have opened up their own, like I know that Discover has their own, Capital One now has some online-only options as well, and there are other banks like Ally or Novo, but because they don't have those physical locations, they are able to put that money elsewhere and pay you a little bit more in interest. So now that you're ready to start saving or investing, it's time to actually fund those accounts. So where are you going to get this money from? You are probably going to need to have a job or start a business of some sort, but an easy way to start saving money is to set up automated savings. So with most bank accounts and with most investment accounts, you can automate taking out money from your checking account and putting it into either that savings or that investment account, and you can do that on a schedule. So for example, if every first of the month you want to take out $100 and move it over into your savings, you can set it up to do that automatically. Just make sure that whatever amount you choose, that you do always have that amount of money ready on the day that it's going to be transferred. It's also a good idea to start setting savings goals and to make these really specific. So it's a good idea to take whatever your end goal is, that exact amount, and divide it by the amount of time that you have left, and then you'll know that you have to save that much either every week or every month. I talk more in depth about some good ways to set this up in my sinking funds video, so go and check that out if you are interested in that. And they don't all have to be serious goals either. I know that I've been using college as an example, but these can be goals for like getting yourself a new car or going on vacation or taking a weekend away with friends. It doesn't all have to be college or like some super serious, boring thing that you're saving towards. Now, the third thing that you want to do is to avoid any unnecessary or impulsive spending. So I do have a few tips for this. For one, you can wait a certain amount of time before you actually make a purchase. And you'll kind of have to determine this for yourself, but I would say start with 24 hours and maybe bump it up to 48 or 72 hours if it doesn't work that well. So when you want something, you'll wait that amount of time until you allow yourself to actually purchase it. That'll give yourself some time to think about whether or not you actually need it and whether or not you actually want it that bad. The second tip is to actually go into your Amazon account or your Target account or wherever you tend to impulse shop and remove your credit card information from their system. If you have to go in and enter your credit card or your debit card information every single time you make a purchase, it'll give you that little buffer of time to reconsider whether or not this is an impulse purchase or whether or not you actually need that item. The third tip is to always shop with a list and actually stick to it. We've all been in the situation where we walk into Target to buy a notebook and then we walk out with the whole store somehow. So that is what you want to avoid. Always go in with a list and just buy those items. So even if you are a teen, hopefully these tips will be helpful for getting a head start on building your wealth. And remember, the earlier that you start, the better off you're going to be. So if you do want to sign up for that platform, M1 Finance, that I was talking about, you can use the link in the description. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you like videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one.